Good evening, students. So today it's our fourth lecture of lesson number 2, that's health and diseases. And we have already completed with the infectious diseases last time, correct? And also with that, we have started with a new set of disease. Now, these are the new set of disease which we are learning. First is enteritis, second one is malaria, third one is plague, and fourth one is AIDS. I gave you introduction for all these diseases, that what exactly happens in these disease, right? And we also started with the very first disease called as enteritis, right? And in these diseases, we even saw its causes as well as the symptoms, along with its prevention and treatment, right? So today we are going to learn a new disease called as malaria, right? I want you all to be ready with your pen and paper because there's a lot more new things which we are going to learn. Okay? Now tell me, what do you know about malaria? We all know that it is spread by a mosquito, correct? But how it is exactly spread? Do all mosquitoes bite leads to malaria? Is that so? Then usually all of us should be malaria patients, right? Does it happen in specific way? No, there's some new twist. So before explaining you the new twist, I have to tell you that most of the insects or mosquito or even ants for the matter, whenever they suck our human blood while taking a flight or while moving, what do is they inject their own secretions into human body. I'm repeating it once again. Assuming a specific mosquito is sucking your blood from your arm, what will the mosquito do before taking a flight? It will inject some chemicals in your skin. And because of these chemicals only, you will feel a kind of irritation in your skin. You will find itchiness. Okay? The same thing happens even with the ants. Whenever a mosquito is sucking the blood, you won't get any specific feeling. But exactly when it takes a flight, when it flies, then you will get that feeling. It is because of that chemical being released and getting mixed with the blood. Okay? Now, you've known that mosquito does this specific thing. So tell me, what if I say there are few type of mosquitoes which have some germ inside their abdomen? Listen to me the story, right? There are specific type of mosquito, and in that we are going to study about female mosquitoes belonging to a specific type. So let's call these mosquito as female Anopheles mosquito. These are female Anopheles mosquito. Now the question will arise that why only female Anopheles mosquito and why not a male Anopheles mosquito? So a female Anopheles, her food will always be blood, whereas the male Anopheles mosquito will feed on the plant sap and not on blood. Since both the genders have different food or different nutritional requirement, therefore not both male and female Anopheles mosquitoes are included in this transmission of disease. Okay? Now tell me, okay, there's a question for you. You are going and playing somewhere in the sand, right? Whatever shoes you're wearing are getting dirty, and you enter your house. So is that you who bring the dirt or germs or the sand which is stuck to your shoe? Will it be you or your shoe which will actually bring the harmful things? Yeah, it will be the shoe, right? Correct. But will people think it's the shoe which is going to bring all this dirty thing? People will think the person is bringing that dirt into the house, which will be you. Correct? Same thing happens when we talk about malaria. We all feel that it's the mosquito which brings the disease. Yes, it brings the disease, but the mosquito is unaware of a cause. Let me tell you what is it about, what I am talking. So there's a healthy boy here. and there's a malaria patient. Okay? Both of them are in a same park. Now, this malaria patient will have a specific pathogen inside its body. What is pathogen? Pathogen is nothing but a disease causing germ or a microbe. Okay? Usually, the pathogen because of which malaria occurs is called as Plasmodium vivax. Okay? It's the name of the pathogen, Plasmodium vivax. So can I tell that a malaria patient is having this germ in its blood? Yes? Okay. Now one thing is common that if you go in park, there are, after the sunset, there are going to be a lot of mosquitoes around. Since there are grass as well. Okay? So what is going to happen is, all the mosquitoes which are present, at least few of them will bite or suck blood from this patient. Correct? Now this is how the story proceeds. Let's just assume one of the mosquito. Okay? And what happens is, let this one mosquito go and suck blood from the patient. ठीक है? I hope यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा है. अभी एक mosquito जाके the patient is not knowing that he himself is infected. He is just not feeling well. So one of the mosquitoes is going and sucking the blood from the patient's body. Now tell me, when this mosquito is going to suck blood, along with the blood, will that pathogen come inside the mosquito's body or in its abdomen? Will anything happen like that? Can I say now the pathogen has entered mosquito's body and it is in the abdomen of the mosquito? Yes, correct. Now tell me, is mosquito aware about it? Is the mosquito knowing that which person is infected or not infected? No, right? Mosquito is not aware. What will it do? It will just suck the blood, and before taking a flight, the mosquito is going to again inject the chemicals. Correct? After that, this mosquito is going to fly. And one more thing, now the story proceeds further. What happens? The same mosquito goes and flies near the healthy boy. Okay? So by now, the mosquito has reached healthy boy. What will it do? It will again suck the blood. Correct? And what does the mosquito does after sucking blood? I have just told you. What does it do? What will the mosquito do? Correct. Before taking the flight or before flying, it will again release some chemicals. Right? So don't you think while this mosquito is going to release some chemicals, it will also release few pathogens which it has just sucked from the patient's body? Right? Will it have many mouths or many other things to deliver something? No, it will have a single opening. So don't you think now the pathogen from the patient's body has traveled or transmitted to the healthy boy? Can I say that? The mosquito went to the patient, it sucked blood, it released some chemicals in that body, it took a flight nicely, went near to the healthy boy, again it sucked blood, and before taking a flight, as its habit, it released some chemicals. And while releasing some chemicals, few of this disease causing pathogens have now entered the body of the healthy person. Correct? Can I say that right now the healthy boy's blood is showing the same pathogen? Maybe in smaller quantities, but can I say that the pathogen has entered the healthy boy's body? Yes. Now, unlike microbe or unlike any bacteria, don't you think there is availability of space for that pathogen to grow in that person's body? And there is also availability of food because it's a healthy boy, right? Correct? So that pathogen has now got space and food inside the healthy boy's body. What will it do? It will quickly multiply itself. The more multiplication of the pathogen will take place inside that boy's body, the more germs in the body, correct? Now, when this boy, maybe after 2 to 3 days, is going for a blood test, or maybe after a week, will the blood test show that the healthy boy is having malaria? Yes or no? Correct. This is what exactly happens when malaria is transmitted. Now tell me, here in between, we all, unlike you and me, we say that it is the mosquito which causes the disease. But can I say mosquito is just a carrier without knowing it is just participating in this act? Can I say that? Yes, a mosquito is just a carrier. And in biology, all the carriers are called as vector. Spelling is Vector. Now let's understand further. So the mosquito will inject few chemicals which will include the pathogen that will cause malaria to the healthy boy. Okay? So you have understood how does malaria is transmitted from one person to another person. Correct? Okay. Now let's understand causes of malaria. Since you know how the disease is spread. Okay? Okay. So the first cause will be organ transplant. Let's say there's a person who has recently been infected by this pathogen and is not aware. And meanwhile, if that person is donating any organ, you have heard about kidney transplant, right? So what will happen if any infected person's organ will be transplanted to a healthy person? That healthy person will also get malaria, right? Next cause is blood transfusion. What is blood transfusion? We all know that there are many blood donation camps which are organized, correct? Now, in this meanwhile, if the person is not doing a regular blood checkup, and if there is an infected person again, and if that person's blood is being donated to a healthy person, again, this healthy person will get the disease or will be infected by the disease. Okay? The third cause is by sharing needles or syringes. Now, what is this? You have seen that whenever you go to any pathology lab, always new sterile needle or injection will be used in order to ensure that there is no transmission of diseases or no spreading of diseases. Yes, but this facility is available right now. We all use mostly plastic injections, right? So that the plastic could be recycled. But in earlier times, plastic was not made in such a huge amount. Therefore, glass injections were present. And what does the doctors used to do is, or usually the pathologist, is after an injection is being used, the same glass injection will be reused by sterilizing that injection into boiling water or by steaming. So if this process of cleaning is not done properly, can I say there are again chances of a healthy person being infected by various diseases? Correct? Therefore, this point is added here that sharing of needles or syringes. Okay. Now I want you all to quickly give a heading to this as second type of disease, because earlier we have written about enteritis and now we are writing about malaria. So give the heading malaria and write the pathogen as Plasmodium vivax. The spelling of Plasmodium vivax is given to you on the chat box. Have a look at it. Okay, a very good doubt which I have received is that, ma'am, the mosquito will have the pathogen, so won't it cause disease inside the mosquito's body? Is there anybody with the same similar doubt? Okay, now let me tell you that this pathogen will not be able to harm the mosquito because it is mostly, what can I say, infective to human blood. Since it is affected to the human blood, who will be affected by it more, humans or mosquitoes? The mosquitoes. No, the humans, because I said that it is going to affect human blood. So if mosquito's body is not functioning like human, it will have zero effect of the pathogen. Okay? Mosquito is not aware itself that there is some pathogen with it. It is just doing its job or its work to go suck the blood, digest it, and fly from one place to other place. I hope you have written the cause or causes of malaria. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. The next slide speaks about different types of symptoms. Now, there is some interesting thing about malaria. Okay, you all might be knowing that a malaria patient would have fever. Okay, now there is a specific pattern to this. Now, what is the pattern I'm talking about? Since this pathogen, that is Plasmodium vivax, it's a very small germ, right? So this Plasmodium vivax will have to first multiply, correct? And multiplication is nothing but reproducing more and more such kind of Plasmodium vivax, correct? So whenever reproduction occurs, there is always a specific cycle to it or a pathway to it. Okay, I'll give you an example. Now let's say when humans give birth to a baby, the basic period of gestation or of pregnancy is minimum 9 months, right? Similarly, any germ, any animal will have its specific reproductive cycle. So when I am speaking about this Plasmodium vivax, it will also have a specific cycle which will take a particular time, right? And whenever this reproduction takes place, what will the body do? The body itself will try to kill these germs by increasing body's temperature, correct? Because this is the body's tendency to kill the germs, and we call this condition as fever, right? Yes. So whenever you get fever during malaria, at that time you will feel lot of chillingness, you will feel lot of cold, okay? And the fever would remain in that patient's body for almost 2 to 3 hours or 1 to 2 hours. And after that, after once the fever will start, or the body temperature will start decreasing or coming to its normal temperature. Okay? Now we all know that a normal human body's temperature is 37.5 degrees Celsius. During fever, the temperature increases. Now what will happen once the reproductive cycle is completed or proceeded further? Body will again stop its mechanism of heating or increasing body temperature, and the fever will again get reduced, and we will come back to a normal temperature. ठीक है? And जैसे ही fever खत्म हो जाएगा, once the body temperature comes to normal, the person will start sweating profusely. मतलब पहले इतनी ज्यादा ठंडी लगेगी, the person will take 1, 2, 3 blankets. Till the time the person is having fever, वो patient को काफी ज्यादा ठंडी लगेगी, right? And after the fever is gone, at that time the person will start sweating. Okay? Now I'm giving you an example. A malaria patient maybe gets a fever. I'm just giving an example for one specific patient. So by 11 a.m., let's say the person is getting fever. Okay? So next day or till the time the patient is suffering, he will get fever in the same time zone. That means अगर आज उस patient को सुबह 11 बजे के आसपास fever आ रहा है, so every day till the time it is having pathogen in its body, it will usually get fever around the same timings. Now, why is it around the same timings? Because I said that the reproductive cycle will be there of a specific time. So every 24 hours, it will go and it will reproduce. Therefore, in the same timings, the patient will get fever and the body will elevate its temperature. Okay? I hope the concept of malaria fever is understood to you. If you have any doubts, the account from which I am speaking, you can put your query over to that chat box. Okay, now let's understand the symptoms one by one. The first symptom is having a high fever. Second symptom is nausea. It's that uncomfortable feeling and weakness. Third is vomiting. Usually what happens, it's a prominent symptom that a malaria patient will first feel that it is, the person is feeling hungry for a while, a bit. But the moment you bring food in front of them, they will feel loss of appetite. It's emotional, what can I say, symptom, but it does exist only for second stage and third stage malaria patients. The fourth one is diarrhea. Fifth is shaking chills. And last is abdominal pain, along with profuse sweating. Okay? Profuse is lot of sweating. Okay? Now quickly write down the symptoms of malaria. Shaking chills is an extreme level of cold which the patient feels. It's the shivering movement along with the chills. We use the term like ठंड से कांपते रहते. That's nothing but the same. Shaking chills. Okay, done? Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, which speaks about its prevention and treatment. Now, as you know that mosquito is involved here as vector, what should we do? Obviously, we need to take care of all the things from which we could be protected or being safe from unhygienic places and away from such kind of mosquitoes, right? Now, we cannot virtually identify them, or we cannot identify female Anopheles mosquito just if they are waving around. So one thing which we can do is we can protect ourselves from avoiding such places. Correct? Now the first thing is for the treatment, that's having or consuming anti-malarial drugs. These drugs are nothing but medicines. These medicines are designed in such a way so that when you eat these medicines, the pathogen's reproductive cycle is stopped so that they don't reproduce more and more. And secondly, these chemicals will start destroying this pathogen. These are called as anti-malarial drugs. Now let's understand prevention. What can we do? We can use full sleeves clothes. We can use mosquito repellent. We can even use mosquito nets at the night time. And we can use maybe a coil or something so that we are avoiding mosquitoes in all the ways. Quickly write down this prevention and treatment points. So there's a doubt from Shreya. Shreya, diarrhea we have already started. Diarrhea is nothing but it's watery stool which are being defecated by the person, which are not like the usual stools which everybody defecates. It's mostly because of a virus infection which is caused due to contaminated food or water. Then let's understand our next disease, plague. Now, what is plague? You've studied about this in your history, right? And the image which you are able to see is a type of rodent. Rodents are all those animals like rats, mice, mouse, whatever you call them. Okay? Now again here, rodents are nothing but the vectors. And there is one more vector involved in them, involved in this disease. I want you all to write the heading plague and let's understand this disease. Okay? Okay. First we'll understand, unlike malaria, how is these disease spread or transmitted. Okay? Now the first thing, a rat carries plague bacteria. What I'm saying, a rat will carry plague bacteria, which will not harm the rat. Okay? Now, have you seen rat in very clean and hygienic place? No, right? They will be always seen somewhere wherever there is this leftover food or maybe any drainage pipe, gutters, and all such places. Correct? So can I say they are very clean animals? Nicely bathed, hygiene, which humans can handle? Of course not. Because they will always travel from all these dirty places. Yes. Can I say their skin or their fur, whatever they have, is very good? Can I say that? No, right? Therefore, if the rat is not traveling from all these good places, will the good bacteria stay on its skin or bad bacteria? Which type of bacteria would be there on the skin of rat? Obviously a bad bacteria, right? Now there are some fleas. These are small insects. You must have seen them somewhere around, maybe when you have banana over cooked, not typically cooked, over ripened bananas at your home. You will find small insects, smaller than the housefly, fleas and flies. Okay? So these fleas will suck blood from the rat. Unlike mosquito sucks blood from humans, this flea will drink rat's blood. Now tell me, if this flea has to drink rat's blood, it will stay on the skin for a while. Yes. And if the skin is going to stay on the rat's skin for a while, can I say it is again getting infected with such type of bacteria? Again, it becomes a carrier like a mosquito. Yes. Okay. Now what will happen? This bacteria will multiply in the flea's abdomen. ठीक है, ये जो बैक्टीरिया अभी इस फ्ली के अंदर गए हैं, ये फटाफट मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि फ्ली के बॉडी के अंदर दे हैव गॉट स्पेस and they have also got food, right? Whatever the flea is eating, the flea is drinking blood, right? So they have also got food and they have also got space. So these bacteria will multiply inside the flea's abdomen. Now this flea comes in contact with a human. Okay, then what will happen? The flea bites human. I'm talking about the infected flea. Can I say when this flea is going to bite humans, it is indirectly going to deliver this plague bacteria inside our body? Can I say that? Same like mosquito did. Yes. And eventually what will happen? Humans will get infected with plague. Yes. Okay. So you have understood how is plague transmitted. Now what I want you to do is, forget about the images, the 1, 2, 3, 4 senior order and few labelings are given. I want you to write this 5 points in a flowchart manner with a heading transmission of plague. And I want you to write this because these things are not mentioned in the textbook. It will be easier for you to understand. Done, students? Okay, so now let's move on to our next slide, where we will be understanding the symptoms about plague. Correct? Now, understanding the symptoms, these will be only occurred once the person gets infected with the pathogen. Okay? First point is having fever and chills. Same like malaria. There will be headache, muscle pain. Now, why muscle pain? Because this pathogen also target you muscle tissues. Therefore, there will be muscle pain and a general weakness. Now, understand there are basically 3 types of plague. And like bubonic plague, pneumonia plague, you don't have to go much in depth. So based on which plague the person has, the symptoms and the treatment would differ. So as I said, few pathogens are targeted or will only harm few host animals. जैसे the Plasmodium vivax in case of malaria didn't cause any harm to the mosquito. Why? Because it was not able to cause any harm. It didn't interrupt in any mosquito's cycle or process, but it did interrupt cycle inside the human body. Similarly, when these bacteria are on the rodent's skin, they are not causing any germ to the rat. Why? Because these pathogens are not harming any process of the rodent. But when it comes to humans, they do interrupt in our cycle. Therefore, we call them as pathogen because they are disease causing. Now, we know that we also have few good bacteria inside our body. Yes, we do have few bacteria inside our body. We actually have many bacteria, but we call them good bacteria as they are helping us and not harming. Once they start harming our body, we just label them as pathogen. I hope you've written the symptoms. Okay. Now, as I said, the treatment would be different for different type of plague. Correct? But what will include in the prevention part? Okay, always remember, whenever a person gets infected by plague, that person can transmit this disease to other person. Therefore, the primary thing which we should be doing is isolating such people. What is isolation? Taking the patient away from all the other healthy people. The same which we are doing right now, even for COVID positive patients. We isolate the patient, and here we are using the term as quarantine, right? What are we exactly doing? We are just isolating them. उनको अलग कर देना is isolating. ठीक है? I do not want you to write when I'm explaining. Once I'm done, I'll give you a minute time. Second, use insect repellent products. Why? Because the vector here is the flea. And flea is the one because of which the disease is getting transmitted to our body. Okay? Protect the pets from flea. How do we need to protect the pets from fleas? Can you relate with this point? If any one of you have cats or dogs, we should ensure that they are not going for a walk in any unhygienic place. And even if they are going or they are, we need to let them go. We need to take them for a walk, right? And even if they are going, the one thing which we should do mandatorily is we should brush them before we are taking them inside our house. Okay? We should always brush the furry animals. We should clean them and then we can get in contact with them. Okay? The next point will be keeping the home free from piles of firewoods, rocks, or debris. Now, what does that mean? Have you ever been to a village? Yeah, the place where these woods are stored. Okay. So whenever there's a lot of cluttering, clutter is accumulation of various things in an improper way, not a systematic way, right? Such places are prone to flea growth. कुछ भी fruits randomly यहाँ वहाँ रख दो, and if you're not remembering where your things have been placed, so such places are very much prone that where your house can catch such flea. Okay? Therefore, we need to ensure that hygienic things are practiced. Correct? Okay. Quickly write down those 4 points. Debris means kachra, the waste. Okay, so we are done with plague, and now let's move on to the next disease. Understand, we are again going to study this disease in the later part of the chapter in depth. Okay, and the name of the disease is AIDS. Now, again, as I mentioned, AIDS full form is acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Give this a brand new heading. It's acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Now let's understand the meaning of this entire name of the disease. Okay? Acquired ka meaning is one which has come to you. Okay? Acquired जो मिला है. What is immune? It is related to immune system. Therefore, the word immune or immuno is used. Deficiency का मतलब है decrease in something or decrease in working of something, जिसको हम deficit या फिर deficiency कहते हैं. And syndrome is more or less like a disease, but what happens or what is syndrome? It is a group of symptoms जो बार बार बॉडी में अकरिंग होते रहते हैं, and this condition is called as syndrome. क्योंकि डिजीज में the symptoms might be different at different stages, but syndromes में a set of symptoms occur consistently again and again and again and again. So when I'm saying acquired, that is मिला हुआ, immune deficiency जो immune system को deficit करने वाला syndrome, right? And it's again a virus. Now, how is the disease transmitted? Okay, first understand the virus itself. Okay, we call this virus as HIV virus. Okay, and the full form of HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. डिजीज का नाम है एड्स, वायरस का नाम है HIV. प्लीज रिमेंबर एंड डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. ठीक है. नाउ let's take a person who is already having the disease. That means this person is going to have virus inside its body, correct? And what will happen once the virus come inside? It is obviously going to multiply, right? Now let me take a healthy person. Yes, the healthy person. If the virus from person A, that's the man, has to be transmitted to person B, which is a healthy woman, what should happen? Something from this infected patient's body should enter the healthy patient's body. Then only the patient will get infected by the virus, correct? Because HIV virus is not transmitted through coughing or touching or being with the patient, unlike in the case of corona or TB, right? I'll give you one more example. Let's say you are sitting beside the cancer patient. Will you get infected by cancer disease? Will the cancer transmit to your body? Will that happen? No. Why? Because you know that disease is not going to be affected until and unless the blood from the infected patient's body is not entering your blood. Correct? So can I say that the germ, or here in the case virus, is within the body? And when I'm saying it is within the body, can I say that it will remain in all the fluids of body? It can be saliva, it can be your tears, it can be your blood, It can be the lymphatic fluid. Lymphatic fluid is nothing but white yellowish color fluid which is present in the lymphatic system of the body. I hope you must have obviously have some heat boils which gives this yellowish color, pus and everything at least once. Yeah, don't worry, all your doubts will be cleared. Okay? So until and unless none of the fluid from the infected person's body is getting transmitted to a healthy person will be HIV negative. That means no traces of virus will be found in the women's body. What did I just say? If any fluid from the patient's body gets transferred to healthy person, only and only then the virus is transmitted. Understanding? Okay. Now, if let's say this person goes and donates blood, and that blood is given to this specific woman. So can I say now that she is showing virus inside her body? Can I say that? Can that virus be transmitted through blood? Yes. So now this patient or this lady will be showing virus. And what will happen after a lot of time? The virus will again start multiplying and growing inside the body. Okay? This is how the disease is transmitted. Now let me give you one more cycle or one more cause that how does this virus works inside our body, that what does this virus exactly do inside our body. Ready for this? I hope the previous slide is understood. Okay, now let's understand this virus and let's understand how this virus works inside our body. So this virus, the name of the virus is human immunodeficiency virus. That means ये ऐसा वायरस है जो हमारे इम्यून सिस्टम को कमजोर बना देगा. ठीक है? This virus is going to decrease the fighting capacity of your immune system. Okay, now I'll give you an example. Let's say you are not feeling well, you are sick, and you take medicines. How does medicine work in your body? You consume the medicine, you eat it along with water or maybe with milk, along with milk. It goes into your digestive system, goes into your stomach. Okay, it gets dissolved, and from small intestine it will be absorbed by the blood. Right? अभी ये जो भी मेडिसिन का केमिकल है ये ब्लड में है. Now what will happen? Now this chemical or the medicine will give orders to your immune system, and based on that orders your immune system will fight against the disease. Correct? Medicines work in this specific way. But let's say when your immune system is not ready or is extremely weak, so no matter how much ever medicines you consume, will your immune system be able to fight or give order to the respective or accept order from the medicine? If your immune system is weak, no matter आप कितने अच्छे medicines consume करो, क्या वो medicine immune system को order दे पाएगा? Or assume that the medicine is again giving order to your immune system. Will your immune system be able to work or to fight against this disease causing bacteria or germs? No, right? तो ये ऐसा वायरस है जो बॉडी में एंटर करने के बाद सबसे पहले जो काम करता है वो अपने इम्यून सिस्टम को अटैक करता है. And the immune system belongs to humans, right? Therefore, the name of the virus is human immuno. That means immune को deficit करने वाला deficiency virus. That is HIV. ठीक है? Okay. Now, what happens once the virus enters your body? It attacks body's immune system. धीरे 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 immune system को कमजोर करते जाएगा, and it will take few months for this virus to nicely grow and slowly and eventually destroy your immune system. Then what will happen? Tell me, once the virus attacks the immune system, the patient, now we'll have to call it patient, the patient becomes weak, right? Because it won't be able to fight against normal diseases also. And the patient is becoming weak. That means the immune system is becoming weak, right? And this weak immune system is unable to fight against any disease. Any disease matlab normal sardi khasi bhi. Even for such diseases, you require medicines and immune system to be there, right? Okay. And what will happen? ये इंसान और ये पेशेंट इतना वीक हो जाएगा, दैट मीन्स उसकी इम्यून सिस्टम इतनी वीक हो जाएगी दैट द इम्यून सिस्टम विल बी जस्ट प्रेजेंट फॉर नेम सेक, वो कुछ भी काम नहीं कर पाएगी. I am speaking about the immune system of the person. So if the immune system is coming almost to zero, will the patient be able to survive? Because there are still a lot of germs whenever we eat food, whenever we drink water. We also do eat junk food, right? So the immune system itna kharab ho gaya, so will the person be able to survive? No. And eventually what happens in this disease, since the immune system is extremely weak and unable to fight against any disease, eventually the person dies. Is this clear? How does the virus works inside your body? Okay, now quickly give a heading as working of the virus, and I want you all to write this 4 points. Be quick. I'm not giving you these points in order to write into your paper. These are just for your understanding. No, WBCs will not be helping you to fight against any diseases, because they will target the WBCs itself. And WBCs में भी, that means white blood cells में भी काफी अलग-अलग type के cells होते हैं. There are acidophils, neutrophils, basophils, macrophages, monocytes, lymphocytes. There are many such. I'm giving you a minute's time. Quickly write them down. Okay, I hope it's done. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now this slide speaks about preventive measures. What should be avoided or what should be done? Okay, coming to the very first point, no blood transfusion is to be done. Ensure that there are safe physical contact between the persons. You should not directly go and touch any wounded area of any person. That's the first thing you will see as difference between you yourself and between a doctor. A doctor will never barehandedly touch any open wound. The reason is this: avoid sharing razors, needles from infected person or of the infected persons. And there's also one thing, since people know that ultimately patient dies, people also treat this HIV positive patients in, untouchable, like untouchables, which should not be done. They should be treated normally and equally like all of us. I hope you have started writing with the preventive measures. We also have one more part regarding AIDS to be studied in the same chapter, but that will be in brief. Okay, now these were the other infectious diseases which we had. Now let's move on to present day diseases, the most famous ones. Tell me, what kind of diseases are you hearing right now other than COVID? Famous ones in monsoon. Viral, yes, viral fever or something. And the hero disease, dengue. Many people also call this as dengue. Right? So let's understand this disease. We will study first two diseases for now. The first is dengue, and we will also learn what is the pathogen of dengue called as. So the name of the pathogen which causes this disease is called as Aedes aegypti. New for you, right? Okay, for now, quickly give the heading as dengue. Now here, this Aedes aegypti is the name of mosquito. Please remember. And this mosquito can also spread chikungunya, Zika fever, and yellow fever virus diseases. Okay, this mosquito looks slightly different than other mosquitoes as it has white color markings on its leg. And it looks in black and white color. Okay, I hope you've written the heading as dengue and the name of the mosquito Aedes aegypti. Okay, so first tell me, it's a common question for everybody. Where do you see mosquitoes laying their eggs? In the water, correct? But do they lay their eggs in all type of water? That means in sea, river? No, unhygienic places, right? Can I say mosquito lay their eggs in drainage water? Is that true? That does a mosquito lay its legs on drainage water? No, your answer is wrong. Now, why is this? Because whenever a mosquito wants to lay its eggs, it will require water to remain stagnant. Stagnant is non-flowing water, the one which is not going to move. So it will target all the places where it will find stagnant water. And most of the time, this Aedes aegypti mosquito will lay eggs in the stagnant water within your house. Yes, this mosquito will lay eggs most of the time in areas within your house or also inside your house. Now you'll wonder, how is inside your house? Correct? Now, one of the students has answered as AC water, but let me tell you, AC water is still dripping, right? And wherever it get collected, the water is will again show a kind of movement at the surface. It will be flowing. But have you ever seen that when you overwater a plant, the water gets accumulated in the dish in which the plant is kept inside your balcony? Yes, very small amount of water. You most of the time try to ignore this, such a little amount of water. But that's the exact place where your mosquitoes are going to lay their eggs. And even if you feel ki we didn't wander anywhere outside, we were just at home, still we got dengue, that's because of such kind of practices. Now, usually it is also recommended that whenever you fill your buckets with water, you should ensure that you are recycling or refilling them every day. You keep a bucket filled with water, you go outside to your native place. Once you come, maybe after a month or so, you will see that the entire layer of this water will, the water layer, upper layer, will be having few markings or dirt markings. Even though no one have come, still these are nothing but the remains after laying of the eggs. Right? Okay, so now you have understood or you have got an idea about dengue. There are still many more places where stagnant water occurs. I'll give you the list once we proceed. Okay? Now, what are you able to see? Is this a stagnant water? Yes, it's a dirty water, but is it flowing? No, it's stagnant. Many of the time, this, or what I can say, unused or used and unrequired tires are just kept outside. These tire will have a small hollow place inside it. Yeah, inside which water gets accumulated. And again, that small amount of water is very good place for mosquito to lay its eggs. You must have seen places where people throw maybe coconut or dried flowers or offerings to the god everywhere in open ponds and lakes, right? Even at such places, you must have seen that the wholesome coconut, not the smaller one, the green coconut, it will be hollow from inside, and whatever amount of water gets collected, even if it is thrown out, maybe due to rainwater or something else, that will again, act as the best place for this mosquito, Aedes aegypti, and it will again lay its eggs. The second thing which I mentioned was regarding this plant outlets or the tray which you keep. Now I know there are many enthusiastic which likes to water, or keep some water away for birds, some seeds for birds, but ensure that you're recycling that vessel. Every day you're throwing the previous water and you're refilling it. Why? Because if you see the layer, are you able to see small layers in that circular vessel-like structure? Small whitish color. Yes, these are nothing but the eggs which are laid. Okay? And how does the mosquito looks after laying its eggs? Just like this. You're getting it for white colorations कैसे दिख रहा है? And mosquitoes not going to lay one or two eggs. There'll be many, many in the number. And eventually क्या होगा? Every egg would give a birth to a new mosquito, and they will come and bite us. And this is how the black and white marked or labeled Aedes aegypti mosquito looks like. Getting it? Okay. So now you have understood how is the disease transmitted and who is the culprit. Aedes aegypti, right? And but here in case of dengue, can I say that we are the one who are inviting such disease? Can we avoid such things? Yes. How can we avoid them? Again, by its preventive measures. But first, let's understand the symptoms. What happens when you get the disease? What will happen? Acute fever, फटक से fever आ जाएगा. Headache, there'll be vomiting like sensation. And in dengue, one prominent thing which exists is pain in the eye socket area. The area beneath your eye, circular round, जहाँ पे dark circles आते हैं, yeah, वहाँ पे pain होता है. And because of something gets infected, what will happen? Your platelet counts decreases. And one more prominent symptom which is not given in your textbook is that there'll be a lot of pain in muscles and joints. Even when the doctor will declare you that you are no more having any disease or you are a healthy person, still after the pathogen inside your body is eradicated, what will happen is you will have lot of joint pains and muscle pain. Okay, now I want you to quickly give heading as dengue, write the pathogen's name as Aedes aegypti, and write down its symptoms. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. The next slide is about a new disease called as swine flu. Okay? Now, swine flu is also known as H1N1 flu. Earlier it was named as swine flu, then we have renamed it as H1N1 flu. Now, this H1N1 flu occurs because of a flu virus, and the name of this virus is swine influenza. Okay, whatever doubts you have, please do mention it on the chat box and do not spam. Dinesh Kundar from DN Nagar, please. Okay? Now understand this disease is caused because of mainly two things. First is pig, and second is humans coming in contact with the pig. You must be knowing that in foreign countries also pigs are also considered as a pet animal, right? So these are two main reasons. The first is pig, and the second one is humans, which comes in contact with the pig. Therefore, this virus enters your body because you coming in contact with them. And what will happen is one human can transmit this virus into other person. Okay, it's again a kind of infectious disease. Now let's understand the symptoms. There is difficulty in breathing, sore throat. This is nothing but हम लोग कहते हैं इसको गले में खिचखिचाहट, and body pain. Quickly write down the name swine flu, also rename it as H1N1 flu. Write the virus name, that's swine influenza, and the symptoms. Usually in the treatment part, antiviral drugs are given, painkillers are given, and the person is asked to rest for a while. And this depends again on the severity of the disease. Sore throat is again, I said, gale mein khich-khichahat. You have some kind of irritation in your throat. Okay? Okay, we are done for the day. And today we have learned about diseases like malaria, plague, and introduction about AIDS. We studied dengue and we studied swine flu, also called as H1N1 flu. Okay? Nishant sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm done for the day.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yep.
Okay, students, we are done with the lecture. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Take care. Bye bye, everyone. Have a good day.